Well, it's been just a few weeks since we moved our daughter into her dorm room, which still feels so crazy not having her presence here. We definitely miss her. But I realized really quickly that I needed to cut back a little bit on the amount that I was making for dinner. And so I wanted to have some recipes that were just designed for 2 people, maybe having a little bit of leftovers. Are you in the season of life where it's just 2 of you, or maybe it's just yourself and you don't want to make a huge 9 by 13 inch casserole dish? And if we haven't met before, my name is Ange, welcome, and this is the Menu Made Kitchen. So I thought I'd start off this video by sharing my husband's most requested meal that I make, and that is barbecue chicken pizzas. I have been making pizzas this way for years. We love to make them on naan bread or on pita bread. It's just so much easier to have individual pizzas than have a large pizza that you have to deal with and then store. Plus, it's nice when you just have 2 people because you can just pull out the ingredients you need. These pizzas are awesome. I know you're gonna love them. So for our barbecue chicken pizzas, we have to start by getting our chicken cooked up. So I have a large chicken breast here that I pounded out thin. Just so it cooks quickly and it gets a nice sear on it. So I'm going to add a little bit of kosher salt, and then I'm going to do some Creole seasoning. This will give it really good flavor, and that way I don't have to use a bunch of seasonings. I can just use this and then the salt. I am going to do a little bit of oregano because I love the flavor of oregano on pizza. So a little sprinkling of that, and then I'll flip this bad boy over. A little more salt on this side. And that's it. Just a really simple seasoning. So we're going to move over to the skillet so we can get this cooked up. All right, so I'm going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil to my heated skillet, and then we'll add in our chicken. And we're going to cook our chicken. Oh, evidently it was not hot enough. It should be sizzling. But we're going to cook it on both sides. We want it to be nice and golden brown and obviously cooked all the way through. So we're going to do that. That's probably going to take about 6 minutes or so. And then we'll move back over to the cutting board and start assembling our pizza. All right, so this is dinner for 2, right? So I have a couple pieces of naan bread. I like to buy the Trader Joe's Indian style flatbread. These are wonderful for making pizzas, especially if you're just making pizza for just yourself or a couple people. It's awesome. All right, so the first thing we got to add is our barbecue sauce. I like to use the Sticky Sweet Stubbs. This is a really good brand. Use any kind of barbecue sauce that you like. And I'm going to do roughly about 1.5 tablespoons per flatbread, because we're going to be drizzling a little more barbecue sauce on the top. And then we'll just take our spoon and kind of spread it out a little bit. We probably have pizza, I would say like maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. And we definitely love the barbecue chicken pizza. Okay, and then we're going to add some mozzarella cheese. Do as little or as much as you want. I grated about 1 cup here, so I figure about 1/2 cup per pizza. We like it good and cheesy. And then we're going to add some of our chicken pieces. And I just kind of break them up a little bit so they fit on top really easily. Okay, and at this point, I like to drizzle a little more barbecue sauce on top of the chicken. You can also toss the chicken with a little bit of barbecue sauce. I do that sometimes, but today I just kind of want the Creole seasoning to shine on the chicken, but I do want to add a little more barbecue flavor. So the nice thing about pizzas is you can kind of customize it to how you like it. And then we like to add red onion. You could even do black olives. We've done that before, or even some green or red pepper. Red onion's kind of a classic barbecue chicken topping. And then for a little sweetness, we're going to do some little pineapple chunks here. Or tidbits, is that what they call them? Little pineapple tidbits, and these are canned. And usually I'll make a salad, and this is kind of our dinner. It's perfect. I always like to add a little more oregano over the top, again, just because it reminds me of the pizza flavors. You could even do like Italian seasoning. All right, and then a little more cheese goes on top. And I'm going to do a little more barbecue sauce just because I want to. Definitely want to drive home that barbecue flavor. Plus it'll kind of caramelize in the oven a little bit on top there. So simple, such a quick dinner. So I have my oven set at 350. I'm gonna pop these in, and I usually let them go about 10 minutes or so just because we like ours to be a little bit more on the crispy side. So just kind of watch it. Really, when the cheese is melted, it's pretty much done. All right, here we go. We're doing dinner on paper plates tonight. We're gonna keep it really simple. All right, we gotta give this a try. I mean, I've had this a bajillion times. We have this all the time, but still, it never gets old. If you've never made pizza on naan bread, it is perfect. Like, I have only made homemade pizza dough just a small handful of times, and I would go this route over homemade anytime because it's easy and it's really delicious, especially the ones from Trader Joe's. But I've used like the papapillas or papapita, the round ones. Those are perfect for pizza crusts, or like my English muffin pizzas that I make. This is so good. And if you don't want to do barbecue chicken pizza, use these naan breads and make pepperoni or Canadian bacon. They're just so fun and easy and perfect for a small family like we have right now. This barbecue chicken, I'm telling you, it's definitely a home run. It's so, so yummy. So for our zucchini cheese lasagna roll-ups, we got to start by getting our cheese mixture mixed up. Now I did already cook the lasagna noodles. I threw them in a pot of water with a little bit of salt, and I boiled them just 8 minutes. And then I like to transfer them to a large sheet pan with parchment paper. That will kind of help them not stick together, and I need them to cool before we actually fill them. And so I have a small bowl here, and I'm going to add some part skim ricotta cheese. You can also do whole milk ricotta, but I wouldn't do the fat-free. I wouldn't skimp with the cheese here. So I'm just going to do kind of a rough measure. Did I mention we need 1.5 cups? I can't remember if I said that. So there's that. And actually, this is probably going to be, I think this is about 1.5 cups. What is this? Oh, 15 ounces. Okay, so 15 ounces of ricotta cheese. Now that I just dirtied a dish here. We also got to add in some mozzarella cheese. This is about 1.25 cups, and I'm going to add a little bit more than 1/2 cup, and then we're going to save the rest for the top. And I also have 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, but I'm just going to use 2 tablespoons of this, and then again we're going to save the rest to pour on top, or to sprinkle on top. And then for our zucchini, I have 1 cup of shredded zucchini, and all I did was shred it, of course, and then I wrung out as much of the liquid as possible. It's kind of like if you're doing spinach and lasagna, you want to make sure to get as much liquid out of the frozen spinach before you bake it so it's not liquidy. So add that in there. And I really like the idea of doing the zucchini. I'm not a big frozen spinach fan, and I didn't want to take the time to like saute spinach. So I think the zucchini is going to be kind of fun. I'm going to do 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'll do 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. All right, and you know what's going to happen? I'm going to mix everything together. You could definitely add some more seasonings to the cheese mixture if you want to throw in a little bit of garlic powder, but we are going to be seasoning our sauce. So I don't think we need to do the cheese filling. All right, that looks good. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to get our ingredients ready for our sauce. For our sauce, I have 1 cup of pasta sauce. So you can use any kind of store brand or homemade if you want. And then for our seasonings, I have 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then I have 1/2 teaspoon of the umami seasoning from Trader Joe's, which that's optional. You can definitely add other seasonings. But I am telling you, this stuff is so awesome, and I use it in so many recipes now. It's just got everything. You know, it's really earthy, and it has other seasonings. So good, and you can get it off Amazon too. Okay, all those guys go in the pool, and then we'll mix this together. Simple, so easy. All right, that looks good. I'm going to set this aside, and then we're going to start getting our lasagna noodles rolled up. All right, I got everything all set up here. And again, you really want to make sure that the noodles are completely cooled before you add your cheese mixture. So I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of this mixture here. And I'll just kind of plop it down, or plop it in the center of the noodle. And then I just take my spoon and spread it out thin. Super simple. And then we're gonna roll up our roll. And you don't want to do it too tightly. It's just kind of like we're not doing cinnamon rolls here. Just kind of a light little roll. You don't want to squish the cheese out of that side. So just like that. How cute are those? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll set this guy over here. Then we're gonna get the rest of these rolled up and then we will move on to the next step. We are ready to assemble, so I have a casserole dish here. You don't quite need a 9 by 13 inch baking dish. And I'm going to use about half of our sauce. I'll put this down first. I did spray the pan with, did I say that? I keep forgetting if I've set the steps or not. Grab my spoon and see if I can kind of spread it to the edges. Definitely want the bottom to have a little bit of sauce on there while they bake. And then I'm going to try and fit 4 of my rolls down the center. And then we'll do 2 on each side. That's my hope anyway. I do have another pan that I know that these would have fit perfect in, but the edges are kind of cracked and I really just need to get rid of it. It's actually not a very safe glass pan. Do you know how do you ever do that? Just like hold on to something because you're like, well, I might use it. It still works. I think this is going to be fine. Perfect. I just think that these are precious. How adorable. So now I'm going to spoon a little bit of sauce over the top of each roll. You're going to want to use the rest of the sauce. So whatever doesn't end up over the top, just kind of pour it around the edges. This is the perfect dinner for 2 because my husband and I will get to have some leftovers for lunch tomorrow. We'll probably each have 2 rolls and then we each get to take 2 rolls tomorrow. And then of course we got to do a little bit of cheese. We'll just add a little bit to the top of each roll. And then we're going to use our leftover parm. Sprinkle a dab over each roll as well. Sprinkle a dab. What kind of word is that? Sprinkle a little. All right, that looks good. Okay, I grabbed some foil. So I have my oven set at 350. I'm going to cover this with foil and we're going to bake it about 20 minutes and then I'm going to remove the foil and then we'll bake it another 10 minutes with the foil off. And then we get to garnish it a little bit with some greens and then we get to taste it. Okay, check this out. Doesn't that look so beautiful? I wanted to try a little taste with you before my husband gets home and we eat together. These held up super well. They're not watery at all from the zucchini. Like I said, make sure you really get most of that moisture out of there. I'm so excited. Okay, here we go. Just gonna do a little bit of salt. But guys, this melts in your mouth. It's so creamy and cheesy. And I love that it doesn't have any meat. It just feels a little bit lighter, even though it's lasagna, and lasagna is kind of like a heavier, cozier meal. This is delicious, and I love that it was super easy to throw together. This will be fantastic for leftovers tomorrow for lunch. I think you and whoever you're gonna make this for, you're absolutely gonna love it. So for our Baja fish tacos, we have to start by getting our fish fillets prepared. And I'm doing a shortcut. I am going to use store brand fish fillets. And I'm using the Gordon's brand. I did a lot of research on which brands are the very best, and Gordon's was at the top of the list. The crispy battered, especially because it's wild caught from Alaska, it has very minimal ingredients. So I feel like if I'm going to do, you know, freezer style fish fillets, this is a brand that I like to use. But we definitely have to season our fish. And so I'm going to lay down my fish fillets on my sheet pan here that I've lined with parchment paper. And I want to give them kind of that Baja flavor. So First, I'm gonna spray the tops of the fish with nonstick cooking spray because we wanna make sure that the seasoning adheres to the fish. We'll just flip those guys over and spray the other side. This is such a fast and easy recipe, perfect for a dinner for two because it's so quick. And then for the seasonings, I've got 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. So I'll just give this a little mix up here, combine it. And you can get creative with your seasonings. If you want to add maybe some cayenne pepper for heat, you could do that, or heck, you could even sprinkle taco seasoning over the top of these for that kind of that flavor. And basically, I'm just going to sprinkle the top with the seasoning. And because the fish fillets are already pre-seasoned when it comes to like salt, we don't need to add any more salt or anything like that. Okay, flip these over. I love fish tacos so much, and I still have yet to find a fish taco recipe that exceeds this food truck that we have in Oregon here. In Eastern Oregon, actually. Oh man, the best fish tacos of my life. And I always try to like replicate them, but these are pretty good. These come in a close second for sure. Okay, so that's it for our fish. I'm gonna pop this into a 425-degree oven. I'm gonna follow the directions on the back of the package. So we'll cook them about 20 minutes. I'm gonna flip them over about 12 minutes in, and just really wanna make sure these are good and crispy. While our fish is going in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and get my really simple slaw going. I also have my corn tortillas in a pan over on the stove, toasting on both sides, and then I'll wrap those in foil and keep them warm. So to our bowl here, I'm gonna add in, I've got 1/4 cup of sour cream. I'm gonna mix the sauce ingredients first before I add in my slaw, just so it combines better. I'm also gonna add in 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. I'm gonna juice this entire lime. Definitely want it nice and citrusy. You could even add some of the zest if you really want it limey. I'm also going to add in a teaspoon of honey, just for a touch of sweetness. I'm also going to do about 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm just going to eyeball it. That looks good. We'll do a little pinch of salt and then a little bit of pepper. Actually, I like a lot of pepper. Okay, I'm going to mix all of this together. Actually, I think I'm going to get a whisk. That might be easier. Okay, that looks perfect. Look at that. And then I've got 2 cups of slaw mix. Again, doing a shortcut. I want to keep this really simple. I'm also going to add in 1/4 cup of chopped up cilantro. That was my dog. And then I'm going to do 1/4 cup of sliced red onion. Okay, grab myself a fork, and then you know what's going to happen. We're going to mix everything together. And I like it to be good and creamy because really the only thing that's going on the tacos is the fish fillet and then this slaw. I'm going to add a few little jalapenos to the top just for fun. So you definitely want there to be, or you want your coleslaw to be kind of saucy. Okay, got to give it a little taste. That is fantastic. It definitely has that lime flavor, and that little bit of garlic powder kind of gives it the ranch essence. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator to keep it nice and chilled until our fish fillets are done. Our fish fillets are finished cooking. Our tortillas are done. So we're going to start building our tacos. So you can definitely layer the corn tortillas and do like 2, but I don't like there to be 2 corn tortillas per taco. It's just too thick for me. So we're just going to set them in our little taco holders. My mom actually bought these for me. I love them. They're awesome for, especially when you're just have a couple of people that you're serving. But the pack does come with 4. So I'm going to do 6 tacos, and then we'll just share those tacos. So we've got our corn tortillas in the holders. We're going to add 1 of our fish fillets, just right down in there. 1 on that side. And then we'll top it with our saucy slaw. Just put it down in there. Obviously, as much or as little as you want, but I like lots of slaw. And then I'm going to throw on just a couple of jalapenos here. I definitely don't want it to be crazy. You know me, I don't like a super spicy, but definitely want a little heat. I think that looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna build the other 4 tacos and then we get to taste these. All right, it's gonna be messy. Here we go. Okay, I had to add a little more slaw because that's where it's at. You gotta have that cool crunchy slaw with the fish. Okay, I hope I can get this to zoom. I want to show you. See that white meat? That's the fillet. So a good quality store brand fish, and it'll just make life so much easier at dinner time. I'm telling you, these are so awesome, and I love how easy they were. The perfect dinner for 2, or if you have a little small family, these are awesome to make for that too. I know you're gonna love these tacos. Well, I'm so glad we got to spend some time together, and I hope that you at least have some ideas and recipes to help you cook for just 2 people or even just yourself. And don't forget, all the recipe links can be found in the descriptions. And if you're new here, I'd love for you to be part of my YouTube family, so make sure to subscribe. I hope you have a really blessed week, and we will see you next time.